Thank you guys for joining us, everyone. I'm Brandon Robinson. We're here with the National Self-Storage Investment Club, one of the fastest growing clubs in the nation. And I am very excited about today. One of the reasons why I'm excited about today is because the individuals that we're talking to and the topic that we're talking about, this is really the reason why this club exists, right? This club exists to provide education to would-be or current self-storage owners that want to scale and take it to the next level. And with the three gentlemen that we have here on that's going to be on our panel today, all three of these guys at one point were first-time buyers whom I helped and assisted in their first storage transaction. We have Russell Miller, who purchased a storage facility in Santa Maria, California. We have Everett Jenkins, who purchased a facility in Magdalena, New Mexico. And then we have Jose Terencio, whom he and his partner, Jasmine Rodera, they recently purchased their first storage facility in Montgomery, Alabama. So it's just really good to see all these various different people that are buying storages. They have different ways that they purchase the storages, different ways that they found them, that they finance them. So we're going to get into it with some Q&A, and we will have the opportunity for you guys in the audience to ask questions. All right, we want you guys to ask questions because there's a lot of you in the audience who you're looking to buy your first facility, and the knowledge that these gentlemen have is it can help you out as you go through that process. So before I get into the questions, let's do this. Can we have you, Russell, speak first, then we'll have you, Everett, then you, Jose. Can you just tell us your name, who you are, where you're from, just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Russell Miller. I'm originally from the Central Coast of California, which is where we ultimately bought this storage facility. Used to be in the tire business, had a tire company, and sold that in 16, and worked for the company that bought us out for a year, and really didn't want to do that for the rest of my days. So ended up moving to Idaho. And I currently reside in Idaho. And We sold a residential rental in California. Had a few close calls with people moving in that weren't supposed to be moving in, things like that, and didn't sit very well. We went ahead and we sold that property. Started looking around for other options. We thought about buying a rental here in Idaho, a residential rental. But We have some family that's also in the storage business and some friends, and they encouraged me to at least look at it. Um, we did, my wife and I, and looked at several. And I was introduced to Brandon, and he had the patience of Job. He showed me a whole bunch of them. And there was nothing that really hit home until one came up for sale in my own hometown of Santa Maria, California. And He showed that to me. And yep, there it is.
Yep, off
Uh,
Broadway mini storage.
yeah, that's our website. Uh, Anyhow, we put a bid in on it, and so did everybody else in the world. And uh, so we lost the first round. And so I went to somebody else, and they took the owners down a merry path, and then dropped at the last possible minute, and pulled out of escrow. And we got a text message that it was going to go back on. And so we went through the whole routine again, and Brandon wrote something up, and we bid on it. And long story short, we ended up with this one that you're seeing pictures of. And it's been good so far. That's not my dog, by the
All
way.
right. All right, cool. Thanks, Russell. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Everett, tell us about yourself and who you are, where you're from, and about the facility that you purchased.
Okay, my name is Everett Jenkins, and I am a teacher here in Washington. I live in Tacoma. I teach about 25 miles away, so I make that commute every day. Well, not now in the summer. But yeah, that's what I do. I'm a coach. Have a vending machine business and two self storage facilities that I'm involved with. When I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I moved out here about 10, 11 years ago. But when I was in Milwaukee, I owned some duplexes, single family units, and was renting them out and all that good stuff. And when I made the decision to move out west, I got rid of everything that I had and was just like okay, because I was getting kind of tired of the rent chasing, going to court, and just it was just becoming too much and all that stuff. So I kind of took a break for a little bit and kind of got the itch. And I've always been interested in self storage, but I was always scared off because it was considered commercial real estate, and I was just like, I don't know what that means. That's a different world. I don't want anything to do with it. What if, what if? But I took a course and would have much rather have met Brandon before taking the course. It would have been a whole lot cheaper. But but I took a course because I was interested in it, and I found out that it wasn't as complex as I had assumed it would be. In some aspects, the buying of these facilities has been a lot easier than buying your primary home for me. Uh, so so yeah, that's I just was always into real estate and just got that itch and got back into it, and I did a lot of stuff online. I ran into not ran into, but I learned of Brandon's website and started seeing the offerings he had and made just made some inquiries, and I'm sure I was a pain too. I can attest to the patience of Job there. So but yeah, it was Brandon's been great, and just I'm hooked. I'm
Yeah,
hooked.
yeah, and we'll get into it later. But Everett is now on facility. He's purchased facility number two and looking for facility number three. So
You're pushing me into
maybe
it
no.
already.
Okay, all right, okay, all right,
The arm is twisted. I got you. I got you.
all right. Jose, tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and the facility that you purchased.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Jose Terencio. I'm located in Pomona, California, which is in LA County. I've been in real estate for 6 years. Jasmine, I think she's on here. We started an investment company 4 years ago. Started with flipping. Didn't know what we were doing at all. And we went from one flip to multiple flips to raising over $7 million in private money in all in 4 years. And last year, we wanted a change, and I think something that Jasmine and I do pretty well. We always want to evolve as entrepreneurs and figure out different ways to continue to reach our goals and our whys. And we landed with self-storage. That was our goal to start getting to self-storage this year. We had a conversation earlier this year where Jasmine was like, "Hey, we should hire a coach to help us get our first deal right away." And I was like, I know a guy that presented at my event last year named Brandon. And we chatted with him. We joined him in his coaching program February of this year. And
Yeah,
then we got under contract on our first self-storage in March, and we closed escrow in April. So we're super excited. Located in Montgomery, never been there, never even been to Alabama. That was a wake-up call for sure.
yeah.
Different environment, and no, we're super excited, and we are so far enjoying the industry.
Yeah. And you know what? Your facility is so you guys are so new and so fresh that I don't think you got everything set up on Google or on Facebook or online yet? Is that
I mean, the learning curve for sure is everyone moves slow.
yeah,
Everything goes slow. We're not used to that. We're used to quick pace, and yeah, we're learning patience for sure.
yeah, gotcha. So question, Russell, to you. What was it? What would you say motivated you to specifically invest in the self-storage asset class?
Well, like I said earlier, we have some friends and family that are in it, and so I got a little bit of an inside view of how profitable it could be if you did it right. And what I didn't want was more tenants with toilets and
Yep.
sinks and backups and all that stuff. I kind of had my fill of that, and I didn't. I really was looking to get something that was a little bit more of a step back, and I could manage remotely rather than have to jump and run when the power went out or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and you don't have as much flexibility. You don't have any flexibility when you're dealing with somebody's residential place of where they're living. And there's a lot of responsibilities involved in that uh, where if you have a self-storage facility, it's a month to month
Yeah.
with all of your tenants. It's a month to month, and if it's not working out, um, you don't have any obligations to that tenant after that month. You can move on, and that's one thing that California did right is you can move a tenant out or send him on his way in 30 days,
Yeah.
and
Good
you try and get rid of a bad residential tenant. Well,
good luck.
that could be 6 months or more,
Right.
and a whole lot of money. So um, we
I
also
got you.
didn't want all of our eggs in one basket.
Yep.
So we have instead of having one basket now, we have 228 of them. But so I don't know if it's a frying pan into the fire or not, but it's working out.
Yeah.
You got a lot more control over those units instead of zero control over one.
Gotcha. And, Jose, Everett, what about you guys? Is similar to what Russell's saying in terms of hey, not having to deal with toilets and tenants or
Well, you know what? Everyone used to tell Jasmine and I that oh, you don't have to deal with toilets, but I would say after buying two gate arms yesterday, I would have rather buy a toilet than two gate arms. I'll tell you that. When I saw the price, I'm like, man, I could have bought a $150 toilet.
yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So I don't know. I'm a little salty with that payment yesterday.
Hey, trade. You're trading toilets for gate arms and gate controllers. You know what? Matter of fact, I just had to pay about $5,000 for a new LiftMaster gate controller because in Mississippi, I don't know if you guys know, but there was a storm a couple weeks ago that had a lot of lightning strikes, and then some lightning just found our facility. Right, we got
Oh,
lucky, and it hit and it knocked out our gate control, just fried it, and so I had
wow.
to buy a new PDK controller and a new LiftMaster gate motor. So I know that I know the pain, Jose. Everett.
Yeah, I'm the same as the other guys where it was the phone calls didn't bother me. Matter of fact, I kind of appreciated the phone calls because I've had tenants in the past where, yeah, well, we didn't this happened like a month ago, but we just didn't call. No, that whatever.
Right.
But so the calls that didn't bother me. But what bothered me was uh the cost to, just like Russell said, the cost to get tenants out, uh, the time it took, and it was in the area where I had these duplexes. It just seemed like tenants just weren't interested in paying.
Yeah.
They had the first month, they had the security deposit, and then after that, well, it's like they kind of knew the game.
Yeah.
And it was just, well, my bank wasn't interested in playing games. So it was, yeah, there's got to be a better way to do things. So I like that. That's what I do like about self storage is that you can move on when it's time to move on,
Right.
and there's no, nobody's at risk of being put out on the street or anything like that, and it's just thank you. You go your way, I go my way, and everything is fine. So yeah, that's I'm my experience is the same as Russell's. This
Okay.
a lot of headaches, and there was more headaches than there were benefits. At least that's what it turned into.
Right. I got you. And that's what you got. That's what got you into storage. I got you.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Got
Without
it.
question.
Okay. Now I got a question for you, Jose, because now I want to get into how you guys each finance these transactions because you got, since I represented you guys in all your purchases, I'm familiar with, the financing method that you use. So, Jose, can you talk about your financing situation was a little bit unique in that you didn't do seller financing like Russell did on his deal. You didn't do conventional financing like Everett did on his deal. Can you talk about, your process of getting financing to purchase your property in Montgomery, Alabama?
Yeah, so we bought the property all private money. Um, Something that we did pretty well in flipping. And I think when we joined Brandon, I pretty much asked them like, hey, can I buy a facility with private money? Is that possible? He's like, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, well, I want to buy a whole property. We plan to buy a whole property with private money. I don't want to talk to the bank. And and that's what we did with this property. It was all private money. Now, what I would say is it was a little bit challenging in the beginning. We for sure got a lot of pushback with our investors for sure. I think we asked for like 2 or 3 extensions, but we weren't giving up. And eventually we just were able to secure an investor and yeah, I mean, I think to us, I think that was the easiest route with not dealing with the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of the things I like about how you did it, Jose, is because a lot of folks, one thing that holds them back is, okay, lack of capital, right? But your journey shows that, you know what, you don't have to put up all of your own capital to go in and purchase facilities. Now, you could have I mean, you had the ability, you could have put up your own capital and bought the place and got a loan, but you wanted to do it more creative and buy a facility without using your own money, using other people's money. And that's something I get asked by newcomers a lot who may not have all of the money for a down payment is, hey, can I buy a storage facility without using my own money? Can I get it financed 100% or more? And the answer is yes. And yeah, it happens. It happens all the time. You just have to have the right people and the right folks that will believe in you, not only believe in you, but also believe in the deal as well. And if you have the right deal where, Jose bought a deal where it was a lot of upside. I mean, you got that deal. It's it was extremely undervalued. It was a distressed price. You want to talk about it a little bit about the distress situation that the owner was
Yeah,
in?
so I think it was originally do you remember he was originally asking like 350 or something like that
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
while ago. So it was a for sale by owner. Jasmine actually found a listing on Crexy for sale by owner. He's been on the market for a while. I think it was like over 200 days. And he listed it at one point it was 250, something like that. And
It looked like
we
he started at like four, and then he just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. And he,
kept
he was a highly motivated guy that's looking to retire, right?
Yeah, motivated guy, retired, and tired,
Yep.
because it was a supposedly a brother and brother business venture. Brother abandoned him. He's works for the government, pretty busy guy, can't really manage. Um, the occupancy rate was pretty low. He couldn't handle, getting new customers. We have we have like 6 units that was sitting there for a very long time that owed him thousands of dollars, and it was just sitting there. He didn't have time. So he was a very, very tired, uh, owner, which I think gave us the ability to come in a little bit lower on the asking price, for sure. And yeah, I will never forget
Yeah.
we spoke Brandon, we presented the deal to Brandon. Brandon crunched the numbers and he's like, damn it, this looks good. And
I should have bought it myself.
and he called. I think Jasmine and I were very shocked because he's like, let's call him. So he calls him and he picks up the phone and we start talking. And then he said, write the offer up. And then the next day we had a 5 a.m. Pacific time call with him
Yeah.
and he accepted our offer. So I think for sure the motivation like that what helped us.
Yeah, it was, and I think because you bought that property for so far below value, because when you look at the comps, all the other comparable properties to this one were selling for double the price per foot that they were buying this property for.
Exactly.
I mean, you were like under $20 a foot. All the other properties were like in the 40s to $50 a foot range that were comparable. So when you have such a good deal like that, that makes it a lot easier for you to go out and find investors that will just, hey, give you money for that entire purchase acquisition. So yeah, he kind of got spoiled. I think I told him like, hey, you guys got spoiled on your first deal. It's not going to be like this all the time. Yeah. And then Everett, on your deal, you went the bank financing route, and what did you put down on that commercial financing?
I can't remember. I want to say for Magdalena it was like 150
Yeah,
down for that one, and the Hattiesburg one was pretty close to the same. And what I had, one of the good things that I did learn about with real estate from that one investor seminar I went to was I ran into a guy who talked about self-directed IRAs and self-directed 401ks. So I had a 401k just kind of sitting there doing nothing, and I'm getting close to retirement too from teaching. So I knew I wanted to get some streams of income coming in. So this was a chance for me to use that money instead of just having it sit there. Use it, put the money down, put 20% down, and went on from there. The process wasn't too painful. Uh, you have some initial hoops to jump through, but what I found is after you do it the first time, you're pretty much set, because when the second deal came up and I went to conventional financing, all the stuff they wanted, I pretty much had. I just had to update a couple of numbers, submit, and then we're all to take money that I had been saving for retirement and use it so that I could develop streams of income, and hopefully 4 years from now, if I can last that long, I can take use that income to live off of and do whatever. But it was, like I said, the first one was in labor intensive. There was just a lot of searching and
yeah,
okay, getting on this file, submitting it, and safe portals and all that kind of stuff. But after I did it the first time, it's everybody seems to want it the same. They wanted the same information, so I pretty much had it there and just had to update a couple of numbers. So
yeah, that's
so
good. That's good, man. Just I mean, that's good uh, how you raise money through your self-directed IRA. Because again,
yeah,
again, a lot of people are always wondering, trying to figure out, hey, where am I going to get the money for a down payment? Where am I going to get the money to buy this deal? And sometimes the money is right there. They just have to figure out. You just got to get creative. Like, hey, I have a life
right.
insurance policy. I have a retirement account that I can pull from. Um, maybe I have a family or friend that's an investor that would give me money to buy deals. Like there's money all around.
Definitely. And again, just going out, getting more information. The best part about these self-directed situations I was in was that I had no tax. I didn't have any tax responsibilities. because it's still considered to be a 401k. So moving it from one place and using it for another, I didn't have any additional tax bill money going towards the taxes. So because
That's
it's
huge.
still a 401k. So I was like, perfect. And then it's not like I got to sit back and live off of dividends that may or may not come in. I have something steady coming in on a fairly regular basis. So that worked out well for me. So
that's good. Oh, good, positive. Everyone's gonna ask you, what do you, because you mentioned how you took a class before and that you were, you spent some time doing a lot of research on storage and taking classes before you finally took the
right.
leap of faith. What do you think gave you that confidence to finally just step out and do it, make an offer on something and get into escrow?
I think the thing that really just got me going was my employment situation, because like I said, at the time I was like back then I would have been 5 years out, but time flies.
Yeah.
And if I sit and just kind of say what if, or I should, nothing ever gets done. So I looked at the numbers and I went back to the trainings I had and people I talked to. I tried to get as much information as possible from various places and just see if it's okay or see if the information is legit, just comparing what other people say and the things you read.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I was like, okay, this is making sense here. I'm starting to get it, starting to realize, okay, this is all right, this is good. And then I met you and your company, and you guys were pretty helpful and flexible with things. So yeah, I just got to the point where it's just like, okay, I'm either going to do this thing or I'm not. And again, just looking back at, okay, how's retirement going to work for me? Sitting back trying to live off of dividends just wasn't going to do it. I need something that's going to bring money in on a larger basis versus just pulling money from my dividends or what have you, and just trying to go through that way. So
right.
So yeah, it's just like I said, time. Just looking at the whole broader picture of things, time was moving. So it's you have to do something. You got to make some decisions, and that's like I said. After looking at everything and doing research and talking to people and doing all kind of things, it just seemed like, okay, this just because it's commercial, this isn't as bad as I thought it would.
Right.
Thought it would be. So yeah, I just went ahead and made the decision to do it.
All right, good decision. Now you're on the now you're at number 2.
And according to you, I'm getting number 3 here pretty soon.
We will be end of the year. We will be end of the year. So hey guys, I'm gonna start. If you guys have any questions, start putting them into the chat, because I'm gonna open it up for some audience questions. And what I'll do is I'll just so that way we don't have a whole bunch of people yelling and screaming at at the panel, I'll just take some of the questions from the chat and read them off. Actually, I got a good question for you, Everett. Is Erwin has a question, and he says, when you're using your IRA, don't you need a non-recourse loan? If you did get one, what bank did you use?
I found a way to get around it, or I should say, I talked to some individuals who told me how you could go a different route with that. So I did look into non-recourse loans, and I saw that, but with Magdalena, I was kind of in a situation where it was really remote, and a lot of lenders didn't want to lend on it because it was so far away from everything.
Yeah.
So what I did was the seller still had a note with, or it still had a mortgage with the bank. So I went to his bank and inquired and saw, well, if they're already given a loan for this thing, for this person, well, if I qualify, you would think they would give me a loan as well. So that's why I went that route. But yeah, the people I talked to that set up the self-directed 401k for me, I talked to them about it, the type of loan, and they informed me that you didn't necessarily have to go the non-recourse route, but uh, if I'm if I'm wrong, I guess I'll be hearing from the government pretty soon here. So, uh, but
Right.
yeah, from the people I talk to, and again, that's going out doing research, trying to find things is always a great thing to do. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and Erwin, if you want, we can put their information in the chat as far as the lenders. One of the lenders that Everett used on the Mississippi deal was a Priority One Bank. It was that's a lender that I'd work with for a lot of my acquisitions in Mississippi, and I just put him in touch with a guy named Francis Wright at the bank, and they're regional bank. They're very good to work with. Um, so Russell, I got a question for you, and then Wyatt, I'll get to your question. So Russell, what was it that surprised you the most during your first few months of ownership, and how'd you overcome it? Because you
Well, about the time we closed escrow, we were hit with not just one but two states of emergencies, and that's a big deal for California. A state of emergency means basically how it affects a landlord is you can't raise your rates more than I think it's 8 or 10%.
yeah.
Um, and when we closed escrow, we had budgeted for considerably more than that. And so the first thing out of the gate was we closed escrow, and we got actually about 25% of them out in the mail. And then we got hit with it was the bird flu. First thing was the bird flu, and then we had the forest fires. And the governor uh, uh, declared it a state of emergency on both things, and that took a while. But anyhow, that was the first thing that was kind of we didn't see that one coming, so it slowed things down.
Yeah.
Uh, and and when we took over, the people that had it before us, they did their best, but it was an older woman that was running it, and the inmates were running the asylum, and they didn't honor the rules. They were everybody's working on their changing oil out in the facility. They're not the hours are 7 to 7, and they would come in just a couple minutes before 7 and stay late into the night. And so we had about 12 tenants that that really needed to go. And so uh, we couldn't raise rates, and the last thing you want to do is start evicting tenants. But looking back on it, I should have gone through and evicted every one of those guys. But I didn't. I was a little bit spooked, and uh, if I would have started evicting, I probably would have had a whole lot less trouble with tenants taking over or feeling like they owned the place than I did.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I also, that was the first thing. It was the state of emergencies and the tenants. You really can't see around all the corners when you're walking the property beforehand.
Yeah.
Which you can tell that okay, we've got some bad apples here, here, and here, but um, you don't realize that okay, this bad apple is also the brother-in-law of that bad apple over there, the people over here. So um, sometimes you got to hit the first people hard, and that'll set the tone for the rest of your interactions with them, and that's what I should have done. So
But you eventually got to it. It just took a little bit more time to weed
oh
out some of
no,
those bad. Yeah.
it was it did take more time, and it was more painful, but
Yeah.
I should have set the tone first off out
Right.
of the gate.
Yeah. So it seems like some of those surprises were number one, the effect that these state of emergencies had on your business because now you go into the business thinking that, hey, I can raise rates because when you bought the facility, the rates were below market. But now with this state of emergency, you can't raise rates more than 8 to 10%. So you had that. And then I know you had your issues with some of the tenants that they're used to the previous management style, which was very loose and very relaxed. And then you come in with a stern hand and you get a little bit of pushback and friction.
Got a fair amount of that.
Yeah. And I know another thing you had too is because the facility that you bought, there was no software, no website, everything was by hand, and you ran into situations where a lot of things were incorrect because they were written down on paper.
They were, yeah. And or they'd been rented 30 years ago, and the tenant would just pass it off to another tenant or another tenant, and it would go down
Oh,
the line.
wow.
And so you didn't know who was in there. Now, and you don't ever see the tenants, but you go to, they don't make a payment, and all of a sudden, it matters. So we had a fair amount of that too.
Yeah.
So the accuracy of records
Yeah.
was a challenge, and it's hard to see that when on the outside until you actually step in and physically run it for a while,
Yeah.
and then these things start to come to the surface. But right, first things out of the gate were the two states of emergencies. If I had to say, there was the one thing that really took me off guard was that, and you can't when you go into something like this, you plan for what you don't know, but doesn't mean they don't surprise you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate you sharing that, Russell. This is a question for, well, I guess actually, Russell, this would apply to you somewhat because you are, most of the time, you're in Idaho and your facility is in California. So Wyatt is asking, what is it like managing a facility that is out of state?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because a lot of you. So I guess we can go with Jose because Jose, you're in California. You bought in Alabama. Everett is in Washington. He bought in Mississippi and New Mexico. And then Russell, you're kind of in between. Half the time you're in California, the other half Idaho. So Jose, you want to start off with that question?
I thought it would be a little bit more scarier to manage before we owned. Only because we've only done California. And now I think it's more easier if you once you have like the people, once you start building the relationships. I think once you have your team, then I think it gets a little bit easier. I think there's certain things where I'm like, man, I wish was there to like get certain things done quicker, only because, you know, people out in the South are very different from West Coast people
Yeah.
in
They don't
terms
move
of,
as fast. Just say it, Jose. They don't move
yeah,
as fast.
they don't move as fast.
Yeah.
It's very slow paced. And that's just how it is. But I think because everything is done on computer, that's what makes it easier, right? Like having the software, everything can be done laptop or phone. I think I wasn't considering that. I think I was just more so like, oh, it could be scary because owners are not there, right? Or they're not locally. But I think we're getting the hang of it in terms of finding our crew, building trust with each other, and then just, operating that way.
Yeah.
So it's not as scary as I thought it would, basically.
Appreciate it. Everett, you want to give your insight on that?
Yeah, for me, it was getting the recommendation from the seller. So the place I have in Hattiesburg, I have the boots on the ground there. They are absolutely awesome.
They are.
And had I not talked to the previous owner, who gave them a great recommendation, uh, it wouldn't have it wouldn't have allowed me to go ahead and just move on with the deal with a sense of assuredness that everything would be okay. It's a husband and wife. One manages the computer program. One is the actual boots on the ground. He goes and checks things out and all that good stuff. And I still have access to the program, so if something's not right, I still have final say on things. But they have been absolutely awesome so far, and the amount they charge has been uh, pretty. It's well worth the money for as far as I'm concerned. With the New Mexico place, the previous owner was going to manage it for me, and he did for a while. And then he told me about a guy who lived across the street, who lived across the way from the facility, and he was a retired guy and just needed something to do. And so I talked with him, passed it along, and asked him if he wanted to do it. He said sure. He's been great. The value of great communication is what's needed when you're dealing with this, because I don't think I don't ever want to be that person that's, I bought it, you guys run it, and I just don't know what's going on. I always want to have my hands in it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But I also realize too that I'm not going to go and fly around the country every month to see how things are going too. So just being able to talk and communicate, and I still reach out to tenants and things of that nature. That that has helped out quite a bit so far as dealing with, or working with the boots on the ground for me.
Yeah, you got really good boots on the ground. I actually started using them as well, Everett.
Oh, the Massengales?
Yeah, the Massengales, they're great. Yeah,
They are. Have you had a conversation with Matthew?
I have. Yeah, Matt he gives more information than you want, but it's good.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's very
He'll
very thorough. He's very thorough.
he'll tell you a story for about an hour before.
He'll tell you many stories.
Yeah.
He'll tell you all the stories, and then, oh yeah, by the way, I fixed this and fixed that,
Yep.
and everything's all
Yep.
good.
Yep. But they're great. They're absolutely
Yeah,
fantastic.
Kathy too. She's great.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, if any of you guys own in southern Mississippi, yeah, there's some good folks out there that we can
Yes,
refer
they
to for
are.
boots on the ground.
Yes, they are.
Uh, and then Russell, you're kind of like hybrid where, all right, you're in Santa Maria some couple months or weeks out the year, then you're in Idaho. How is that?
Well, when we took over, I figured I was going to be down there. There's a apartment on the facility on the site, and I figured I'd be there for 3 months,
Hmm.
and that's how long I figured it would take to learn the system, learn the people, and 3 months. With some of our challenges, it turned into 6 months, and then it turned into 12 months. So I was there the whole year of 2025. I
Yeah,
was planning on 3 months, and turned into 12 months. Um, and that wasn't the plan, and the family wasn't real happy about it. Uh, the wife was not, it wasn't her plan either. But fortunately, she stuck with me on this. But like I say, it was not ideal, but it worked out. And it turned out to be, with all the cleaning up, you could say,
yeah,
and the other issues that we had that we didn't see coming in. Um, and we found there were things that these tenants had some bad habits, that leaving trash outside. That was kind of a big
yes,
one. Uh,
yes,
you can't run off and just leave it to somebody else, because nobody else is going to pick it up. We had boots on the ground, but that was for an emergency in case the gate stopped to work, or there was something that needed immediate attention, but it wasn't really for upkeep. So um, finally, I'm back here back in Idaho, back home, and um, I can see with the cameras every day. I check in the mornings. I check gate logs, see who's coming in and going out. But
yeah,
that's how, with the software that we're using, which is Hummingbird. It's made it um, doable to be offsite. Um, as far as the person who lives on site now, she doesn't do any of the paperwork. She doesn't lease units. She can show units, but as far as somebody leasing them, it's done over the phone or online. Usually I'm involved with it. And if there's a vehicle to be stored, I'm definitely involved in it.
Yeah.
So I do the paperwork, the computer work, and Adrian takes care of showing the units when they need to be showed
All right.
or shown.
Okay.
I hope that answers your
No,
question.
it is. No, that does. It does. No, it does. And that kind of answers some of the questions I'm seeing here in the chat. So Chris, you're asking what kind of storage space could you buy with 100K down? It really is going to depend on the region of the country that you're looking to purchase. With 100K, if you're looking to buy a facility with conventional financing, which is usually about 80% loan to value or below, you're probably looking for something that's around a half a million, 500K. If you want to use SBA financing and get a little bit of leverage, right? With SBA, you can buy properties with uh, up to 85%, 90% loan to value. Now, you can buy something that's close to $1 million. So that's kind of the range. If you got 100K, between 500,000 to a million, depending on what type of financing you go with, whether it's conventional or whether you go with SBA. SBA, you can buy more property because you can leverage it more, but SBA is a lot more expensive in terms of the upfront fees that they charge you, and your interest rate is going to be a lot higher than if you go with a conventional loan, where with the conventional loan, they will usually wrap up some of the fees into the loan where you don't have to pay it up front, and your interest rate will be a little bit lower as well. So between 500K to a million, if you're buying in areas where like myself, Everett, Jose are buying in the South, Southeast, a $500,000 facility will be about 10 to 15,000 square feet, and then $1 million that could buy you about 20 to 30,000 square foot facility. Hopefully that answers your question. Wyatt is asking, how do you know that your employees are showing up and doing their jobs? Well, I'll answer it, and I'll let one of you guys, Jose, Everett, or Russell, you guys can let them know what you do. So, so what I have them do is I have them check in with me when they arrive at the facility. I have them send pictures of the facility, so that way I can see that they were there. They also give me a report stating, okay, what if they had to lock out someone or change a lock or cut a lock, or if they had to mow or landscape. And then, the time that they give me, I can go into the cameras, because all my facilities have cameras, and I can just look and verify that they actually were there. Any thoughts on that, Jose, Everett, Russell?
Cameras are important. I do the same thing. I have them take pictures, and then I find them on the cameras. And you can also, I also check when they came on the facility, if they say that if they're billing for 3 hours and they came in at 12 o'clock and they left at 1 o'clock, well, that's not 3 hours. Yeah, there's the gate software is also helpful in that regard.
Correct. That is true. I actually found he's no longer a boots on the ground guy for me anymore, but I did find a guy who tried to lie to me and say he did 8 hours of work, and I go and I check our gate logs, and I see, hey, you showed up at 12, and it says here that you left at 2. So hey, Jose, Everett, you guys, any thoughts on that?
No, pretty
Yeah.
much the
Oh,
same.
go ahead.
We do pictures, show proof that you're there, and show proof that the job is done before you get paid. So that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, just like you guys, one facility has cameras, and So I can look at that. The other one does not, because like I said, it's super remote. But what I've done with the boots on the ground there, still pictures, and also our deal is on a monthly basis versus hourly. So if things if I don't have to watch the clock on what he's doing.
Yeah.
Uh, I pay him his lump sum, and if there's a problem or if there's something that he's not doing, sooner or later I'm going to find out about it because I only really ask him to do things that tenants ask me for.
Yeah.
So if they're asking me, do you have any extra units, or can you do some maintenance on the door, whatever. Uh, it's easy for me to find out if he actually did it because the tenant's going to tell me, hey, what about the maintenance on my door, or that kind of thing. So eventually it comes to light, and the money that I'm being charged is not, I'm not getting soaked by any
Yeah.
means. So
Yeah.
uh, for me, monthly charges versus hourly is just a whole lot better because I'm not I don't have to check the camera all the time.
Yeah. I think you're right, Everett. I found that to be good when it comes to the boots on the ground. Instead of doing what I used to do was, hey, look, $15 per hour, and then submit your hours, and then we'll pay you at the end of the week, right? If we have them go
Yeah.
once a week. What I found that's better is to just give them a flat fee for the day, because you're gonna it helps avoid some things where it makes it worth their while, because they don't want to go and work for $15 an hour, and they're only at your facility for 2 hours. Well, that's $30. That's like
Right.
gas. Or the flip side of that is that they want to milk it and put in that they work 8 to 10 hours at your facility that's only 10,000 square feet and doesn't warrant 8 to 10 hours a day. So
Yeah.
yeah. And look, guys, you will, as you go through these boots on the ground people, somebody is going to screw you over. It's that's just the nature of the business. I've been through a couple of different boots on the grounds that have uh, screwed me over. But again, like whatever it's saying, when they screw you over, it's like, okay, $100 that you pay them, or $200, and they didn't show up. And then once you realize it, then you move on to the next one until you get someone that's very honest and reliable. Uh, this is a good question. We'll take. What types of boots on the ground do you find that you need? Office staff, maintenance crew. Um, yeah, which one do you guys want to tackle that one first? What do you think is the most important?
For me, maintenance,
Yeah,
because the facilities I have, I'm not at the point now where I have an office where people can go in, rent trucks, or buy cardboard boxes and all that kind of stuff. I don't have that yet, but for me, it's important that things work well because I have a storage unit up here myself, and uh, my unit got broken into, and the people never gave me a call to say, hey, look, somebody broke into your unit.
yeah.
uh, but they did call if I was, like if I was a day late on the rent. I got a phone call. So wait a minute, you can call me after I'm a day late, but you can't call after they break in. And so I look at it from, just having that experience from a tenant's point of view. I just want what I get. I just want to get what I pay for. And if I'm paying for you to keep my stuff safe, that's what I want you to do. And I try to keep that in mind when I'm dealing with people for boots on the ground and communicating with them. Is that I want to keep my tenants happy. You're paying. Uh, you know, I it's
Yeah.
pretty simple. It's pretty simple.
I would agree with that. I think the most important ones that you need, like, since your facility is going to be on the software system like an Easy Storage or a Quick Store, Hummingbird, where people can go online and pay. So you don't need someone in an office receiving checks or running cards. People can rent their units online. What you really need is someone that's handy, that can cut locks, that can put locks on units, that can do landscaping, sweep, clean out units. Like that's the most important stuff. So hiring a boots on the ground that is a handyman, that also is a landscaper, like that. I mean, that's really all you need. Um, and then as far as someone asks about pay, so typically with the pay, I would just pay my, like if I have a boots on the ground, going to a facility once once a week, just give them like some type of flat rate, hey, $75 for the day or $100 for the day, regardless of the time that they're there. And then you just give them a list of tasks that they're, a to-do list, and that they just do every single time that they're there. Russell, Jose, you guys have anything to add on that in terms of the type of boots on the ground you need?
Well, with me, we've got a lot of hedges and things like that, and they can get pretty unwieldy. So having somebody go in once a month and cut hedges. So the landscaping is the biggest issue for me. Um, and I try and make it back to the facility. Um, I was going back every 30 days, and now I'm going back to every 60 days.
Yeah,
And if it's something that's, got a long fuse on it, something like um, rotten wood or a leak or something like that, I can usually take care of it myself. But the day-to-day stuff like maintaining uh, the hedges and stuff like that needs to be done regularly for me. That's a biggie.
yeah, yeah. All
I
right.
was just thinking about it too. I think for both of my units, no, yeah, for both. Um, I can also give free storage for whoever my boots on the ground would be.
Yeah,
So that's one way I can kind of minimize my cost. And that, I mean, sure, I'm not getting money from that unit, but there's a chance that I wouldn't have anyway. So boots on the ground, I'll give you a free unit and $150 or what have you. So that's
yeah.
just another way to kind of make it worth their while too.
Yeah, I've done a lot of trading and bartering. Like, hey, look, you get 2 units for free, and then you do my landscaping, or you do my pest control, or
Right.
it's yeah, yeah. Um, I want to I want to ask this last question, and then, guys, if you guys are willing to, Russell, Jose, and Everett, if you guys are willing to, I mean, I want to be respectful of your time, but I see there are a lot of number of people have questions that are most likely they're where you guys were a year or two ago, just looking to buy their first facility. So if you guys are open to it, we could stay on for another like 15 to 20 minutes to have these folks ask some questions if you guys are open to that.
Yeah, I'm fine with
Yeah,
that. Not a
sure.
problem.
You know,
Okay. All right. So this is one question I wanted to make sure that I got from all of you guys before we ended. Uh, so looking back, and we'll start with you, Russell. What's what's one mistake that you made that other first time buyers can avoid?
well, okay, buying the facility, with that was easy. It was pretty seamless. You did a great job. Hats off. Kudos to you. You did a good job getting that part of it done.
There we go. Hey,
Um,
hey, you know what? You know what? We'll do a shameless plug right there, Russell. If anybody's looking to buy or sell a storage, yeah, yeah. Hey, look. Hey, hey, hey.
okay.
I love.
Shameless indeed. Shameless
Hey,
indeed.
I would love to be of
Uh,
assistance. As you see here, from we have firsthand witnesses and testimonials of my service. So I'd
all
love to
right.
help you guys
Boy,
out. You guys
I
can.
set the table for you on that, didn't I?
Hey,
Okay.
and I will eat. I will
Yeah.
take. I will,
Okay. Good.
hey, so
No.
not look, not just buying and selling, but if you're looking for a coach or a mentor,
Mhm.
do that as well. Go ahead, Russell.
All right. Now, the first 90 days, I thought that everything was going to turn around, and that was probably unrealistic. So I would, if you're going into something like what I was going into, where you're going to be the boots on the ground, you are going to be living it until it turns around. Um, give yourself a more realistic timeline of how, because it will take longer than you think it will. It just does. Um, so the timeline, I would cautious, I would tell people to be more cautious on how long it will take. Talking to a guy who thought it was going to take 3 months and it took 12.
Yeah.
Um, and things that you see like things that come out of left field. I would say like not being able to raise rents, and they were talking it was going to be 6 months. It wasn't, but I would say don't panic just yet. There's plenty of time to panic, but the first 3 months are not the good time to panic. Everything looks scary in the first 3 months, and maybe the 4 or 5 months. But when you panic, you make bad long-term choices,
Yeah.
and um, so I would say when these things come up, because they will, and you're not going to see them necessarily. Take a deep breath, sleep on it. If you got a friend that's in the business, if you got somebody like Brandon, call him up and ask him. And he's a good sounding board. Um, so those are a couple of things that if I were going to give somebody some advice, those would be the two things off the bat:
Yeah.
timeline and don't panic.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's go. Jose, what do you think? What's the mistake you made that other first time buyers can avoid? And I guess as a follow up to that, what's a good piece of advice you can give them?
So I think what comes to mind is during the due diligence process, if you're going to buy out of state, minimum 4 days you should be there. Uh, I don't know why we thought we can do a quick turnaround, which was supposed to be a 2 full day, turned out to be a day and a half. I got stuck in the LA airport, then got stuck in Tennessee. So I wasn't thinking of all that, was the transportation. But I would say in the due diligence process, you do need a minimum of 4 days to not just know the property, but spending time with the seller, the operator, understanding the market, the community, all that good stuff is like super important. I think we kind of did that a little bit once we bought it, but once we bought it, we realized, oh, we should have stayed longer during the escrow period to understand a little bit more, to have a better strategy. Possibly maybe even ask for more credit because we found certain things after
Yes.
close of escrow. Um, so stuff like that. I think that I would say use your time wisely. Oh, and another thing is uh Jasmine are pretty ambitious people. And we told Brandon, yeah, we'll get this done in 30 days. 30 days, close the escrow. Let's do it. No.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
learning lesson for
Yeah.
me. That was like a
Yeah.
little bit like, Jose, you need to calm down your ambitions because
Well, and especially when you were raised, because you were raising funds too. So
right,
yeah,
right. But 30 days for residential, easy done, right? But 30 days in a commercial property, 30 days feels like 10 days
yeah,
because there's so much you need to review, so much to consider, longer inspection period, longer to find the money or
yeah,
the financing part. So yeah, and I think we told Brian at the end, okay, now I get why, commercial buyers put 60 days close of escrow. Now I understand. Before I used to be like, they're slow. I'm like, let's get this done in 30 days, let's close this thing. But I learned that quickly. That
right.
was the case.
I know we get humbled. We get
Yeah,
humbled.
that's a good word. I got humbled for sure.
Yeah. All right, Everett.
Uh, Two things with me. The first one, I wish with the New Mexico property because it's pretty, like I said, remote. And the thing that I should have done was I should have sent a letter, email, what have you, to all my tenants, letting them
Oh,
know, new ownership, and I am. I mean, I did that, but I should have done it like immediately, not wait a couple of weeks, and let them know that, hey, for the for the foreseeable future or for whatever, I'm not going to come in and immediately raise your rent. I'm not going to raise your rates right away because I lost a couple of long term tenants because they were of the feeling that what's usually going to happen, somebody comes in and buys it.
yeah.
First thing they're going to do, raise your rates. And I should have just put their mind at ease. And I probably would have lost some anyway, but at least I could have put their mind at ease and say, hey, look, this isn't, that's not what the case is going to be here. So I should have done that. First, for the Hattiesburg place, what I should have taken a closer look at was uh, tenants that are behind in their rent. So for me, when I look at a property, the first thing I look for is occupancy, after price occupancy.
Yeah.
And the thing I didn't realize, it just never clicked until after I got the Hattiesburg place. You could still have people there, but they owe money to the previous tenant or to the previous owner.
Yep.
So this one, let's just say it's 95% occupied, but of that 95, half of them haven't paid their rent. So then eventually you go through that whole process and you get them out and auction and blah blah blah. Well, what are you left with? You're kind of so in your due diligence, make sure you look at not only occupancy but see where people are insofar as their rent. Are they up to date? If they're behind, because the Hattiesburg place, there's a couple of tenants that owed like thousands. Now, technically, they didn't owe me. That was from the previous. That was from the previous owner.
Yeah.
But that they were still there, and that was still a part of their occupancy. So just double check when you get those reports, just compare and see where people are.
Yeah. No, that is a big one because you could buy a place and occupancy looks strong. Then you get in there and realize, wait a minute, the owner occupies 10 units, and then he has a couple
Yes.
units for his brother and his family and his church, and and then that are not paying, and then you got 20 other units that need to be auctioned. So then when you get through all
Yep.
that, it's like, wow, my true occupancy is actually 70% and not 90.
Yep.
Yeah.
So lesson learned.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey guys, before I open it up for questions, and I'll allow you guys to come off mute and turn on your cameras and ask the question. I want to I want to show you guys something that would be helpful for you. So these are cameras that we use at our facilities. Like anytime we buy a facility that does not have cameras, these are our go-to cameras right here. It's called company called RealLink. You can get them off of Amazon, and there's two types of cameras that you can get. You can get ones like this um, that run off of a SIM card. So if you have a facility that's out in the rural area where you don't have any power or any type of electrical connection, you buy this. This is a solar camera, and then you can use the SIM card instead of having Wi-Fi at that location. And these are 144 bucks. Now, if you do have a facility where you have Wi-Fi, or you have an office where you can set up some type of Starlink, you can get the Wi-Fi cameras, and they're a little bit cheaper. They're $119 versus $144. It's just the ones with also the ones where you use the non-Wi-Fi, the SIM card. You do have to buy that SIM card, and you have to pay, every year. It's once a year fee that you pay to renew that SIM card, and it's usually, I think we pay about $100 per SIM card for the renewal. So just a tip for those of you guys that own. I thought about that, Everett, when you told me about Magdalena, because that, yeah,
Yeah, and matter of fact, I was just thinking that I got to get some Wi-Fi out there so I can set up my cameras. And then as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
there we go. That's perfect.
yeah. No, you don't. Yeah, you do not need the Wi-Fi. Now that is a little bit more expensive because, like, let's say you have six cameras out there. Okay, that's six different SIM cards, and depending
Right.
on your plan, it could be $50 to $100 per year for the SIM card. Whereas if you already have Wi-Fi there, your Wi-Fi, like we use Starlink. Starlink is about $120 per month for the
Right.
commercial package. Yeah, but
Interesting.
I mean, I guess it could balance. I guess it could balance out because let me see, you got six cameras. Instead of paying $100 a month for Wi-Fi, you're only paying $100 a year for the SIM card. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yep. Anyway, that worked. Let me see. Tommy's asking, there is a $15 to $25 per month cellular cost for each camera. No, no. With the real link cameras, there is no monthly cellular cost. You just buy the SIM card, and there's a specific SIM card that we use where you don't have to pay for cellular. Let me give this to you guys because this is important. Uh, it's called EIOT Club. So if you get these, this is a prepaid SIM card where you don't have to have some subscription with like Verizon or AT&T. This is just a prepaid SIM card that you get for your cameras. And it even show you right here, for the security cameras, you have the gigabytes, and depending on how many gigs you want to store before they get deleted, you can that will determine the pricing. And you also can choose to get one that's where you could pay either by the year, you can pay by the month, every 6 months, what have you.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome
so
stuff.
yeah, eiotclub.com. So get this, and then get the Real Link cameras, and you'll be set. So questions. Let's go to anyone out there got a question. Anyone wants to come off mute and ask a question. You guys don't be shy. Otherwise, I'm gonna read your questions.
Hey,
Yeah,
Brandon, how's it going, man? Rodney Richardson.
hey, Rodney. Hey, man, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How's everything up there in Huntsville?
Man, everything is good. I'm in New York right now, but everything's good, man. So I've been
Okay,
chiming into your webinars the last couple of weeks. Some good information.
that's good, man. Yeah, right. Yeah,
Good,
Rodney
good.
has a couple facilities in the Huntsville area.
Yeah, I just had a quick question, man. One thing you probably tapped on, and some things that you do is trying to see what is everybody doing in this market in this time right now to kind of get more tenants to their facilities, especially with the competition. So, what are some techniques or some things you guys are doing to get more clients to your facilities during this time?
Yeah. Who wants to go first? I got some techniques I can share, but I'll let you guys chime in first.
Well, we put up a banner on the when you exit the facility that they get $100 credit if they bring in another tenant,
Yeah.
and we've had some tenants that have taken advantage of that, and Some of them have brought in 3 or 4, which is a big deal. And they just tell all their friends and family. And it doesn't, you don't have to put it out there on Facebook or anything like that. I mean, it's just you're going to reward the people that are already doing business with you.
That's a huge one, Russell. We've done that. We give them $100, or not $100. We give them referral credit. So if they bring someone in that's paying, say, $100 for the per month in rent, we'll just credit that to their account. So whatever
Okay.
the first month rent is, we'll credit that to the referrals account.
Okay.
But that's a bit. Anything else you're doing, Russell, that you can share?
Well, we're doing that. I mean, then there's the usual Google AdWords and things like that. But what seems to make the biggest difference is putting out that banner, and uh, and you have an idea of who's coming in. If you're getting a referral from somebody who's not a stellar uh, tenant, then you take all that with a grain of salt. But
Yeah.
if they're a good tenant, they're probably going to refer you to good people.
Yeah, it's good. Jose, Everett, any ideas?
I do the same as you guys. Referrals, pay for that. One thing that I think that I'm completely different than most, I advertise that my rates don't change. So whatever you come in at, that's where your rates will stay. I look at it this way. I may not make as much over time, especially if a tenant stays. I could make more if I raised the rent, but being on the receiving end, since like I said, I own units, or I have a storage unit. When you go in and you pay $100, I get that's a teaser rate, and then it goes to 150, and then without notice, 175,
Yeah.
240,
Yeah.
300, and it's like, and I have it set up on auto pay, so I don't pay any attention to it. And then I'd look at my account, I just happen to see it, and all of a sudden I went from $100 to now owing 311 or whatever it is. And I get it. And for me, I'm looking for this as retirement. So if I got a tenant who's paying on time, and I'm getting the money, I'm good. I'm happy with that, and I'll raise the rates on new tenants coming in. So,
Yeah.
but if you're staying with me and you're paying on time and everything's great, I'm not going to raise the rates on you, because again, I'm on the other side. I've been on the other end of that, and it's not that you can't afford it, but it's just, wait a minute, I thought I was paying this, and okay, now I got to do this, and it just kind of, it just wasn't. I just don't like the feel of that when I get that notice. Well, I didn't get a notice, but when I see that I got to pay more.
Yeah.
But for me, I just think of sheer revenue, and if I keep you long term, because at Magdalena there are tenants there that have been there since 2021. So, and that place is so remote. Well, if they leave, where am I going to get other people? It's not like there's constant traffic where well, if he leaves, somebody else can stay, come in, or come in. So for me with Magdalena, I'm going to keep those guys as happy as I can, because you've been there for how long? And I mean, this is kind of morbid, but I had one tenant who passed away, who had just been there that long that their stuff, she passed away and I didn't know, but uh, her stuff she had just was a long-term tenant and just needed a place for her stuff. So again, for me, I look at it a little bit differently, but
I
that's
got you.
something that I do.
All right, so Russell, the referral credit's working for you, and Everett, you said the referral credit is working for you as well. Plus, advertising that the rates are not going to change, so
Right,
people don't have to worry about you know things that happen to them, like at the REITs,
right,
the bigger competitors that are changing their rates every quarter.
right.
Yeah, got it. And then,
We do an update on our rents every 12 months, and we refer to it as a 12-month price lock guarantee.
right.
And that it's something nobody in our market is doing, other than U-Haul, I think, is starting to do it now. But the REITs in general don't do that, and that's one thing that sets us apart. But I'm always concerned about the state of California, which is I've got more experience in the state of California, and I know this goes out to nationally, but there's going to be probably some point in time where there's a price. They're going to be there's going to be a situation where we're not going to be able to raise rents. They're going to have some sort of a
A
rent
cap.
lock,
Yeah.
and it's going to be, the government's going to say you cannot raise it more than X because they've already done that on residential houses, and it'll probably make its way down to self-storage as well. So when that happens, if then you're not going to be able to raise rents, and then what you can sell a property is based off of what it makes. And so I don't want to get caught in that trap either. So I don't want to go crazy and raise the rents every few months, but if they know that every year there's going to be some sort of an adjustment, and they know that going in, that seems to work better for us.
Okay. So that's good. So referral credit, 12-month rate lock. Tommy actually was going to talk about this. Tom, you want to get off of if you're still out there, you want to get off mute and talk about Facebook, because I actually find a lot of customers on Facebook.
Yeah, I've spoken to some people who just, you know, join the local Facebook groups,
Yep.
and they make it a, monthly or whatever, some kind of schedule, every 2 weeks or something. Just put you can use AI, Chat GPT or something, just to do a little ad page, about you have the sizes of your units and you have availabilities and the and your contact info and stuff. And there's been people that I've heard of getting, 6 to 8 new customers per month that way, and it's free.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually do that a lot. And what I do is I'll have like some of the assistants that we have in our office, or like my boots on the ground, just go to like I'll give them access to my Facebook, and then I just have them. I either give them access to my Facebook, or if they have a Facebook, I'll make them some type of admin on our Facebook pages, and give them some flyers, and I just have them go into all these different groups that every single city has these local groups, like uh, buy and sell, or trade, or Hattiesburg connections, Hattiesburg events, uh, and then just join all these groups, and you can just go into these groups, and then just post items for free. Like, people are posting underwear that they're selling, shoes. You just go in there and you post, hey, we got storage units that we're renting, and we have all this special, that special, first month free. So yeah, I found that to work really good. And also Facebook ads, which are relatively cheap compared to Google ads. The Facebook ads are great as well.
Yeah, I think also probably just kind of talking to other businesses and apartment complex and such that are around you, right? And maybe
Yeah.
leaving flyers or something there.
Yeah, Denise, you raised your hand. You have a question, Denise?
Yes, I do. You know me. I'm a Cossack girl. So
Yeah.
I was running some numbers and I was thinking about when the gentleman said that he had the issues in California. I'm in California. You have the fires and stuff. And so you have a couple of months where you may not, or you're getting rid of the tenant, and you may not have some backup income, or you're using this income that hasn't come in yet. So I just ran some numbers on a $500,000 purchase in 2025 of a storage unit. Cost seg returns between 17 to 22. If you purchase it in 2023, it's 32,000 to 41,000. A $2 million property, anywhere for up to 165,000, low end 71,000. A $5 million, 321,000, and then 422,000 if you bought it in 23. So as soon as you close escrow, you can do a cost seg, and that would give a person some money to put aside as they're getting the facility in order and setting it up, and have a little cushion. So that's all I want to
Yeah,
say.
and you know what, Denise, put your information in the chat. So if you guys are interested, Denise does cost segregation. She can help out with that. At some point, we got to have her on the get here and explain exactly what she does. But if you're someone looking for cost segregation, yeah, feel free to reach out to her. All right. Let's go with one more question, and before we, yeah, so that way I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you guys for joining us. Last question. Who has the last question? Who wants the last question?
I'll jump in if that's okay.
Go ahead. How are you doing? Denise?
Good. The other Denise. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Let me see. You guys have the same spelling too, right?
Yeah, I do get called Nisi once in a while too. So
there we go.
I actually had two questions. One of them was pretty much answered. So I was talking as far as the rent increases. I personally use a storage unit because I'm a bit nomadic, and I've experienced the same thing, right? The ongoing increases. So I appreciated Russell's information about the 12-month lock guarantee, but also Everett, it led to a different question with Everett. First of all, I need to rent from him, I think.
That's why I do it.
Yeah, but that was his solution to a smaller market. So I would love to hear some feedback. I tend to, if it's a more remote location, there's a little more risk because you're not getting clients. So I'd love to hear something on that. And then just a very high level. I was in a mastermind, great software to underwrite. It was too expensive. So I have basic spreadsheets and that type of thing when I analyze. If you have a suggestion on other software to use for great underwriting, I'd appreciate that.
For the Hattiesburg place, which is not as remote, but there's a ton of competition out there. My plan is to do the same thing and offer, and just, no rate increases ever. Just another way to try to stand out from everybody else. I don't know of anybody else that would be willing to say, "Hey, we're never going to raise your rent." So that's my way of catching someone's eye. And again, those people that are coming in new, well, they're going to have the rent increase based off of, compared to what was done previously. But whatever they rent at, it'll stay that way. Because at least if it's a family or a business, if you know that you got to pay X amount of dollars every month, without worrying about anything down the line, well, you feel assured that, okay, I'm good to go here. I don't have to worry about that. I can set this aside month after month, and I don't have to worry about cost increases. So that's kind of the realization or the thought process behind it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, ever's a really long time. That's a scary thing to put out there. So I guess you could probably, let's say you have a new client that you think is going to be long term. You could say, okay, this current rate, you are locked in, let's say 2 or 3 years, but maybe have a second option where it's, I don't know, $50 more or whatever for ever. So there's different ways. Now you have my brain turning on options on that.
Yeah, again, it's what what your purpose is, and again, for me with these facilities, initially, I'm looking at bringing in streams of income because retirement's
Mm-hmm.
Is now is it's coming up, and I just want money coming in. I
Mm-hmm.
just want money coming in,
Yeah.
and I don't want to lose a potential tenant based on for how much. How much am I actually going to gain? How much or how much am I actually going to miss out on by doing rent increases annually every other or every 2 years or what have you. I'm comfortable with it. I don't have investors to answer to or anything like that, so it's just me. So
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm happy with it, that's yeah, that's just the way I look at it, I guess.
Thank you. And anybody have thoughts on software that you use for analyzing, or what do you do?
I I'm like you. I just use spreadsheets. I mean that yeah, there's a lot of software out there and a lot of people selling or trying to sell these different softwares and tools to analyze facilities. And I'm like, hey, look, as long as I got the revenue, the expenses, and I'll do my research to see which cap rates or
Mm-hmm.
properties are trading for in the area. So I mean I have spreadsheets that I make myself, but
Yeah.
I don't necessarily subscribe to some of the software tools that people are using to uh, come up with values for facilities.
Okay. Yeah, and the variables are, relatively limited. You know what they are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do use software for like research. I'll use
Mm-hmm.
like a store track, or I'll use the self storage demand website, or what's the other one that's really popular? Tract IQ. I'll use some of that stuff, but in terms of just doing my underwriting, like I have my own spreadsheets that I have, and I'll share it with people that are like either students or clients or folks that I'm working with.
Okay. Thank you.
No, no problem. All right, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate your time. I know we went over, but I felt you know what this is really important to hear what these gentlemen have to say. So it really was worth going over today. And like we're gonna have to have you guys come back. I mean, you guys gave some really good information, really good feedback, and hopefully it helped. Hopefully, you guys learned something today that will help all of you in your journey on buying your first self storage or buying your next self storage. So, Russell, any last words you want to say before we close?
No, I appreciate the opportunity to get on the show here uh, and I appreciate what you've done for me. And yeah, that's it.
All right, thanks, Russell. Jose, last words.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very grateful, and I would just say anyone who's still looking, if you are looking to buy your first property, don't overthink. Just take the action. Um, and I'm sure it'll come much, much faster versus just, overthinking way too much about the outside noise. Just focus on what's more important.
Yeah. Everett, last words.
Guys, thanks for the opportunity to talk with you. If I can ever be of assistance, I don't know how I can, but if I ever can be of assistance, please don't hesitate. Brandon's got my contact information, so be more to help out any way that I can. And again, like Jose said, it's don't just jump in, don't just jump in the shallow end of the pool, but also don't be afraid to jump in. Find that right spot, and uh, it. I'm very happy that I'm involved with it, and I'm sure you will be too. Got to do what's best for you, of course, but yeah, don't be afraid to make that first move.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, guys, we're done for today. Thank you guys for joining us. Self-storageinvestmentclub.com. National Self Storage Investment Club on YouTube is where we will be replaying all of our recordings. This recording will likely be up, if not tomorrow, probably Monday, and I'll send an email out to all of you so that way you can Go and review it, access it, and yeah, we're here again every Wednesday, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific, 12 o'clock Central, and we actually have a very, very special event coming up on Thursday, July the 30th. We have a gentleman named Fernando Angelucci, who he's a big-time syndicator. He's out of Chicago, works for self-storage syndicated equities, and he's going to this is going to be a very in-depth, probably a 2 to 3 hour workshop on raising capital. He's very good at raising capital from investors, from institutions, different ways to structure deals where you're raising capital. So if you guys are interested in that event, please email me or text me, and that's going to be on Thursday, July the 30th. With that being said, thank you guys. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Bye.